Thanks for tuning into Electric Bike Journal. In this video, we are going over the specs and our thoughts on the Aventon Pace 4. The Pace has been in the Aventon lineup for quite some time now, and with the Pace 4, you're getting a frame update as well as some technology updates to give you a much more loaded e-bike. The Pace 4 comes shipped as a Class 2 e-bike, but via the Aventon app, you are able to up those speeds up to Class 3 levels if you live in an area that allows you to do so. This has a 500-watt rear hub motor with peak output of 864 watts, and it uses a torque sensor technology to get that rider input to give you that power. There is an integrated and removable 733 watt-hour battery that is all UL certified. This battery is also removable without a key via the display or through the Aventon app. The Pace 4 uses Aventon's new side display, and you can connect to the bike via the Aventon app. Through the Aventon app, you can use the ride tune capabilities where you can really custom tune how you want the pedal assist to feel. Another key update to the Pace 4 is that it now has the Aventon Control Unit, which is available on other bikes like the Abound series and as well as the Level 3. The ACU is packed with a bunch of features to help keep your bike secure. Through that 4G connectivity, you get a lot of cool features, like you can do GPS tracking of the bike, you can do geofencing, so if you're only going to be riding in a particular area, you can limit where this bike will be running. Other security features for this bike are unusual activity detection, an alarm, you can have a startup password that you can set on the remote control there. You can also have this bike for when you turn it off, there is a rear wheel lock. So when you turn that bike off, that rear wheel has a kind of like a little pin mechanism that locks in the back cog there. So when you go to roll that bike, it's not gonna move. All of these features can help deter thieves and help track your bike if it does go missing. If it is important still to lock up your bike if you are gonna leave it unattended, having all of these just give it another layer of security and some peace of mind knowing that if you do lose your bike and you have that 4G connectivity, you can help find your bike, or if you're even geofenced, it's gonna be pretty useless when it gets outside of that zone, so you'll have an easier chance of finding your bike if it does go missing. The Pace 4 has a Shimano Altus 8-speed drivetrain and has Tektro hydraulic disc brakes front and rear. The wheels are 27.5-inch wheels with 2.1-inch tires on them. The bars are a BMX-style aluminum bar, and the seat post is a suspension seat post with preload adjustment. Another key update is the Pace 4's frame. It is now a gravity cast aluminum frame in the front triangle to help improve the frame's rigidity. The Pace 4 comes in 3 different colors and 2 different sizes in this step-through frame design. There is a small, medium, and a large, extra large. This is the large, extra large, and I'm 5'8", and it fits me well, and there's definitely a lot of room in that seat post to go up to accommodate taller riders. The Pace 4 comes in weighing around 53 pounds and has a total payload capacity of 300 pounds, and the estimated range is up to 70 miles. The base price of the Pace 4 is $1,799 without any accessories. You can accessorize this bike with a front rack like we have on there, as well as fenders, and there are some other optional accessories that you can get through Aventon. After putting in some miles on the Pace 4, it's nice to see that Aventon has putting in a lot of these updates and refinements into their lineup. The Pace has come a long way from that original one that they released a few years ago, so it's nice to see that these updates and refinements just really bring it up a level from what it has been in the past. When you first look at the Pace 4, you notice that gravity cast frame has a nice look to it. There aren't any weld lines or anything, so it's very clean looking and it looks pretty premium, especially when you get up close with that nice paint scheme. This not only looks good, but there is some functionality to it. With the frame being a little bit more rigid, you are going to get a more efficient and a better ride. With that gravity cast frame, they're also able to seamlessly integrate that pretty big battery into that frame right there, and it really stays out of the way. It's also very easy to remove with the app. You just go through the app and release the battery, and it just kind of drops out. There's a little latch you hit to release that battery fully so you can take it out of the bike. Since you don't need a key to release the battery on this bike, if you're going to be leaving it out in public places, definitely have that startup password on there or have that bike locked through the app so no one can go in there and just release that battery. The ACU technology is a good addition to the Pace 4 as well as some of the newer models in the Aventon lineup. It just gives you that peace of mind that your bike is going to be secure and you can track it with those GPS features as well. Any little features that help deter a thief, like having that alarm or seeing that the bike isn't gonna roll forward or not, it's nice to have. They aren't visual deterrents like having a big heavy duty lock, but just having that extra layer of security is always good if you are going to be leaving your bike locked up in public, or even if you have like a shared bike parking space, always good to keep your bike as secure as possible. And having those features with that ACU technology does just give you that peace of mind. Certain features like the geofencing might seem a bit overkill for some people, but if you are someone that does ride within a certain radius, or you want to keep this bike definitely within a little fenced off area, that is a cool feature to have. And in the unfortunate circumstance, if your bike does get stolen, if you do have that GPS tracking on, you will be able to find this bike a lot easier than just searching those local Craigslist or Facebook ads. If these features seem a bit too much for you, you don't have to use them. You can go into that Aventon app and turn them on and off as you please. Another benefit of that ACU technology and using that Aventon app is when there are updates for the bike, you can do that over the air. You don't have to bring it in a shop or plug the bike in at all. You can do that all through the app, so it's all wirelessly fed, which is very convenient. For those features that do require that 4G connectivity, there is a subscription fee. The first year when you get the bike and after you register it is free, and then after that you are going to have to pay for it. With that new refined geometry and that gravity cast frame, it is a comfortable upright seated position, as well as those BMX style bars that they have on there. They have a nice rise to them. You don't have an adjustable stem or anything like that, but you can tilt those bars forward and backwards to get your arms in the right position. That added suspension seat post does help dampen some of the rougher roads, so it's a nice addition to have on this bike. The Pace 4 does not have a front suspension fork. As you can see, that is a rigid aluminum fork up there, so you do feel some of those bumps in the road when it does get a bit rougher, and that may be a turnoff for some people, but it does have the 27.5-inch wheels with those 2.1-inch tires on there, and with the right air pressure, you can help dampen some of those bumps. I think the rigid fork for the Pace 4 works well for the intended use of this bike, which is riding around the city or just around your town or on the local bike path. If you're looking for a bike with the suspension fork, there is the level 3. That bike is a bit more serious of a commuter. It has the flat bars on there, a little more more aggressive if you want to say, but a more not as upright seated position. So that is getting into a different category of a bike right there. The stock tuning of the pedal assist levels on the Pace 4 actually worked well for me right out of the box. I've been riding around with it in those stock curves that they have in there. I like to do that first when I get the bike just to see where it's at, and I can custom tune it to where I want to if I need to. But as it sits right now, I've been able to go pretty quickly up some of those steep hills in the highest pedal assist mode. And when you're in those lower pedal assist modes, you definitely are putting some more work in there, and you do feel the power that comes when you pedal a little harder, since it does have that torque sensor. So for now, I'm not going to change it. If in the future I want to make it so it comes on a little bit quicker, I can do that very easily through the app. And I've done that on some of the other bikes via that RideTune app, and it's very easy and pretty straightforward. As for the throttle on this bike, it does work well, so if you need a break from pedaling or you just want a little help off the line, just go ahead and use that throttle, then you can start pedaling and continue on down the road. The Pace 4 does not come with fenders or any racks out of the box, so if that is something that you want, you're going to have to add that accessory yourself. It is nice to have this smaller front rack that we have on here. That way you can put a few different items in there. I was able to put a lock, and then went and rode and picked up some food on this bike. There is a cool little cup holder thing in there, so you could put a bottle if you need to. It does come with a headlight, and there are rear lights integrated into the frame that also have blinkers on them that are pretty convenient to have, but I just still don't remember to use blinkers, so that's something that I'm gonna have to keep on remembering to use the blinkers on a bike like this when I'm turning. The display on the Pace 4 isn't very large, but that does keep your handlebars a lot less cluttered. It's on that left-hand side of the bars, right near that thumb throttle, and it's pretty sleek, just pretty much the width of those bars, so it does stay out of the way. It isn't too hard to see the pedal assist level you're in or how fast you are going, and if you really want to see a lot more information, you could get a phone mount and connect to the Aventon app, then you can see things a bit more larger. Overall, the Pace 4 is a solid bike, and with those new technology features and that frame design, you're really getting a bike with a more premium look and feel. For someone looking to up their mileage when they're riding around town with some electric assist, the Pace 4 does a good job of getting you out there on the road and being comfortable while doing so. This fits more for that casual rider who's going to be just cruising around town or hitting those bike paths more than a super serious commuter in our eyes. If you do add some of those fenders and a rear rack on here, you can up the convenience of commuting with the Pace 4. With the Pace 4 coming in at around 53 pounds, it's not too heavy of a bike to load onto a rack or lift it into a van or truck if you do want to take this on the road with you. You can also remove that battery fairly easily through the app or on the display right there. So if you want to lighten the load a bit, you can also do that. Now let's go on a little ride to show you what it's like riding the Pace 4. Heading out on the test loop, which has some flats and rolling terrain. And as usual, starting with the bike off. Right now, just cruising, no motor. And, you know, slight tiny downhill, but if you're on the flats, you can cruise 8 to 10 miles an hour, depending on the grade. But we're gonna turn on a little uphill here, still bike off. You know, it's got 8 speeds and we're in the easiest one right now. And we're going, definitely feeling it. So, bike's not a lightweight bike, coming in over 50 pounds, but around 53 pounds, so not too crazy heavy. Definitely not a lightweight e-bike, but not a heavy e-bike. We've had some heavy ones in the past, but cruising up that little hill to the stop sign, bike off, was able to do it. So we'll get going, just throttle to get me going, put it into eco mode, which is the first out of the 3 pedal assists that we have on this, and staying in this stock tune that the bike came in, just because it's been working out. And eco mode feels good going on this little hill here. You know, got that torque sensor, so the more I put into it, the more it can go, and gives us that assist that we want from an e-bike. So we'll do a little cut on this path until we get to some more rolling terrain. But this bike handles well. It doesn't have a front suspension fork like some other bikes, but I think for what the intended use for mentioned was just cruising around town, totally works. And you don't always need a suspension fork. Sometimes it can be a little less efficient. But tiny little downhill here till we get to a little bit of a roller. I'll get this ready in sport mode. But yeah, bike picks up speed pretty quickly too. So just on that tiny little stretch was over 20 miles an hour. And we're in class 2 right now. This can be a class 3 e-bike, changing that through the app. But class 2 works for me right now. In sport mode right now, cruising on that little incline. You know, I'm not working too hard and still getting to 17 miles an hour. But we'll keep on rolling in class 2 for now, because, excuse me, sport mode, because it's working out. And as the road continues up, sport mode, keeping it easy for us. You know, we do have another one in there and in that turbo mode, but I think if you're just cruising around, not trying to get there as fast as possible, but if you want to get there fast, sport mode works pretty well. And when you get to the flats with that torque sensor, I just started pedaling a bit harder. We're getting to 20 miles an hour and just sustaining it, which works out pretty good. So when we get to this next incline, I'll pop this into everyone's favorite turbo mode, because we like to go fast. And now we've hit this somewhat steep stretch right here. And compared to sport, definitely hear the motor working more. So, you know, it's a 500 watt motor, peak output over 800 watts. And You can hear it, but it's not super loud. And turbo's helping us get up this little pitch. And the more we give it, the more it'll give us. So I just slowed my pedaling down a little bit and it slowed down. But not bad for all those different modes it's got. We'll continue on our ride, get you to a spot I can show you how that throttle works. So we've got the bike to a standstill, and since it does have the throttle, we'll see how that does. In the past on the, we've got ourselves to a standstill, just in eco mode right now. Gonna do a little throttle test, and here we go. Just throttling right now, and you know, not the beefiest throttle, but pretty quickly to 20 miles an hour. So that'll do for us. I did a little run through earlier. The throttle is the same in each of the pedal assist modes. It doesn't like cap you out at a certain speed in sport or in turbo. And on this incline, I'm just throttling up right now, and just the throttle, 17 miles an hour, pretty solid. So throttle easily on slight inclines, and especially on the flat roads, will carry you to that 20 mile per hour range. So that's if, you know, you really just don't want to pedal. But since we're on a relatively flat area, keep it into eco mode. And we're upwards of 18 miles an hour right now, so really don't need it unless we're trying to max out at 20. But yeah, overall this bike is also comfortable. It's got a nice upright seated position. Like mentioned earlier, there's no suspension fork at all, but it's got the 2.1 inch tires on there. Suspension seat post helps, and it's not too bothersome. And hitting those bumps is like, you just got to be a little more aware. But even if you had a front suspension, you got to be aware hitting some of those big potholes or something like that. But I think it still rolls smoothly with this rigid front fork here. So a little bump there, but yeah, I don't think it hinders the ride at all. It's still smooth and comfortable. Got that nice upright seated position, and definitely the suspension seat post helps dampen that ride. So you're getting some help from some suspension here, which is beneficial for those that live in a area with bumpy roads, like I kind of do. Getting to the hill test, since everyone likes a hill test. This is a steep one. I've used some maps online to see that it reaches up to 15%. So from the stop here, I'm just keeping it in turbo mode because I know it's steep and my legs are feeling it today. So here we go in turbo mode. Not at the steepest part yet, but cruising right now at 12 miles an hour, and you do hear that motor working hard, and you can shift through the 8 speeds to get up here so you're not working your legs too hard. But we're able to get up this, definitely working, but at speeds over 10 miles an hour, which is definitely solid. And just from a stop in turbo mode, got that pedal response to where you want it, help you go quick and easily. After that hill, continue pedaling at 18 miles an hour, so not too worked from going up that steep incline right there. Bike can definitely do it. And here's the hill bomb to the stop. So it's a nice spot to test the brakes. So just cruising down. And that was 33 miles an hour before I needed to grab the brakes to get to a smooth stop. So bike gets going pretty quick. Didn't feel like it handled weird at all. Good geometry for even going fast. you're upright so you can see a lot. And you know, I'm just coasting right now, still doing 30, 31. There's 33 again. Hit a little bump, no worries. And yeah, these brakes, always good to have hydraulic disc brakes. They stop well, they were smooth. Didn't feel like they were gonna bite at any point. It just gives you confidence that you are able to stop when you need to, and that is always crucial on a bike. And we got blinkers here. I use the blinker. Don't know if anybody knows or realizes some bikes have blinkers, but we'll use them when we can. But just to charge up this little hill here, get it into eco, out of eco, into sport, and really gets you going and can hold you there. And obviously in these higher pedal assist modes, it's gonna use more battery, so you're not gonna get as much range. So when you can, I think putting it in eco or even off if you're cruising on a downhill and going at a comfortable speed, why not save some range so you can maximize the range out of this? You know, up to 70 miles is a good distance, and that could leave a couple rides around town without having to charge it, or just going on one big long outing. So the Aventon Pace 4, it's got some good upgrades from the paces of the past. And I think it's a solid bike for someone looking for kind of, you know, an upgrade from maybe just their regular pedal bike, or an upgrade from a pace of the past. You know, you get a lot of those technology features, those safety features, the GPS tracking, the geofencing, the bike lock, the alarm, the wheel lock, excuse me. So a lot of technology packed into a good looking package. It's a nice looking bike. So if you're looking for a bike just to do those cruising around neighborhoods or bike paths, or hey, I bombed some hills, so it's capable of that, and going up some steep ones, the Aventon Pace 4 is a good option. Thanks for watching this review on the Pace 4. If you haven't already, give our channel a subscribe. It helps us grow and continue to bring you more e-bike content. If you have any questions or comments about the Pace 4, leave a comment down below and we will do our best to get back to you. We'll see you in the next one.